I think the point is made.
Big point.
I think it is a big point.
What, because he can't remember the name of some two-bit movie star? Oh, I suppose that means the kid was at the movies.
No, but it indicates that nobody can prove that he wasn't. He might have been at the movies and forgotten what he saw. If it's perfectly normal for this gentleman to forget a few details, then it's also perfectly normal for the boy. Being accused of murder isn't necessarily supposed to give him an infallible memory.
You can talk till your tongue is dragging on the floor. The boy is guilty, period. You know what I mean, my friend? Ooh, who's got those cough drops?
They're all gone.
You know, there's something we're forgetting here that I was just thinking about. That whole business with the psychiatrist that dragged on forever.
Oh, don't start with all that phony psycho, whatever you call it, nonsense. What a load of rubbish that is. Filling people's heads with that junk. Listen, I got 3 psychiatrists keeping their cars in my garages. The whole 3 of them are crazy.
Listen, there's a point I'm trying to make here.
I didn't give you a nickel for a psychiatrist's testimony.
Why don't you let the man talk? He can take 5 minutes on the uses of psychiatry when he's finished.
What I was going to say was the psychiatrist definitely stated that the boy had strong homicidal tendencies. I mean that he was, what do you call it, capable of committing murder. You know, he described all those tests, ink blots and all that stuff. And he said the kid is definitely a killer type. Am I right?
Jack, I think he said something about paranoid tendencies, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Whatever that is. He said it. So let's not forget, we're talking about a boy who always had murder on his mind.
His unconscious mind.
Nobody else's.
I beg your pardon.
I beg pardon? What are you so goddamn polite about?
For the same reason you're not. It's the way I was brought up. Discussing murder potential, we should remember that many of us are capable of murder. But we jurors do. The most these psychiatric tests can do along these lines is this. They can tell us that someday a particular person may commit a murder. That's all. They prove nothing.
Then why are they admitted into evidence?
Oh, they have many uses, of course. In this particular case, they added to the general impressions the prosecution was trying to create. Perhaps if we 12 men were to take the same tests, 1 or 2 of us would be discovered to have the unconscious desire to kill and the potentiality for carrying it out. But we do not. To say that a man is capable of murder does not mean he has committed murder.
But it can mean it. Listen, if they said that a guy is capable of killing, he could have killed, couldn't he?
Now, you're the one who said, and I quote, I wouldn't give you a nickel for a psychiatrist's testimony.
Love it. Hands!
Okay, what time is it?
5 to 6. Man, look at that rain. There goes your ball game.
Say, could I see that knife for a second?
We're still tied up 6 to 6. Who's got a suggestion?
I have. Let's get some dinner.
Well, let's wait till 7, just give it another hour.
Okay with me?
There's something I'd like to say. I mean, it's been bothering me a little, and as long as we're stuck. Well, there was this whole business about the stab wound and how it was made, the downward angle of it.
Oh, don't tell me we're going to start with that. They went over it and over it.
I know they did, but I don't go along with it. The boy is 5 feet 7 inches tall. His father was 6'2". That's a difference of 7 inches. It's a very awkward thing to stab down into the chest of someone that's more than a half a foot taller than you are.
Give me that. Okay, you're not going to be satisfied till you see it again. I'm going to give you a demonstration. Somebody get up. Okay. Now watch this. I won't have to do it again. 6 or 7 inches shorter than you, right?
That's right, maybe a little more.
Okay, let it be more.
Hey!
It's not funny of you. Just calm down. Nobody's hurt, right? No, nobody's hurt. All right. Take a look at it. There's your angle. Down and in. That's the way I'd stab a taller man in the chest, and that's the way it was done. Now go ahead and tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in. I guess there's no argument.
Wait a minute. Can I see that? God, I hate these things. I grew up with them.
Have you seen him used in fights?
Too many of them. On my stoop and in my backyard and a lot across the street. Switch knives came with the neighborhood where I grew up. It's funny, I wasn't thinking of it before. Guess you try to forget those things. You don't use this kind of knife that way. You have to hold it like this to release the blade. Well, in order to stab downwards, you'd have to change your grip.
Well, how do you use it then?
Well, underhanded. Well, like that. Anyone who's ever used a switch knife never handled it any other way.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure that's why they're made like this.
You know, everybody agreed that the boy was pretty handy with a knife, didn't they?
That's right.
You think he would have made the kind of wound that killed his father?
No. No, not with the experience he had with these things. I don't think he would have. He would have gone for him underhanded.
Oh, how do you know? What, were you in the room when the father was killed?
No. And neither was anyone else.
You're giving us a lot of mumbo-jumbo here. I don't believe it.
I don't believe we can determine what type of wound the boy might or might not have caused simply because he knew how to handle a knife.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Listen, what do you think?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
What about you?
According to the testimony given by the
Hey,
woman
listen,
across
wait
the
a minute,
street.
wait a minute. I'm getting a little sick of this whole thing already. You know, we could yakety-yak till next Tuesday here, so I'm gonna break it up a little. I'm changing my vote to not guilty.
You're what?
You heard me. I've had enough.
What do you mean you've had enough? That's no answer.
Hey, listen, you, just worry about yourself.
He's right. That is no answer. What sort of a man are you? You have sat there with the rest of us and voted guilty because you have a pair of baseball tickets burning a hole in your pocket, and now you say you have changed your mind because you're sick of all the talking.
Now, listen, buddy.
You have no right to play like this with a man's life. It is a terrible and ugly thing to do. Don't you care?
You can't talk like that to
I
me, you hear?
can talk like that to you. If you want to vote not guilty, then do it because you are convinced the boy is not guilty, not because you've had enough. And if you think he's guilty, then vote that way. Or don't you have the guts to do what you think is
listen.
right? Guilty or not
I
guilty?
told you not guilty.
Why?
God damn you, I do not have to
You
tell
do have to say it. Say it. Why?
I don't think he's guilty.
Mr. Foreman, I want another vote.
Okay, there's another vote called for, huh? I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. Anybody object? All those in favor of not guilty, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. 9. Those voting for guilty. Vote is 9-3 in favor of not guilty.
I don't understand you people. All these picky little points you keep bringing up, they don't mean nothing. How can you believe his story? I mean, you're an intelligent man. Well, you're not going to tell me you're not. You know the facts of life. Well, for God's sakes, look what we're dealing with here. You know what they're like. I mean, that guy over there, I mean, all this talk about psychiatrists, maybe he ought to go to one. Look, let's talk facts, okay? These people are born to lie. Now that's just the way they are, and no intelligent man is going to tell me otherwise. They don't know what the truth is. Well, take a look at them, they're different. They think different, they act different. Well, for instance, they don't need any big excuse to kill somebody. Well, it's true, everybody knows if they get drunk on wine or something cheap like that, well, they're very big drinkers. Slamming the door, smart guy, what's that supposed to mean? Well, and then they're drunk, and then the next thing, bang, somebody's dead in the gutter. Okay, nobody's blaming them for it. That's how they are by nature, you know? Violent. Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us. Where are you going? While you're in there, clean your ears out. Maybe you'll hear something. Look, you listen to me now. These people are boozing it up and fighting all the time. And if somebody gets killed, so somebody gets killed. They don't care. Family don't mean nothing to them. They breed like animals. Fathers and mothers. That don't mean anything. Oh, sure, there's some good things about them. Look, I'm the first one to say that. I've known some who were okay. That's the exception.
Do you know you're a sick man?
Sick?
Why don't you sit down?
You old son of a bitch, who the hell are you? Oh, who the hell is he to say that to me? Look at him. He can barely stand up. Sick? Listen, I'm speaking my piece here, and you're gonna listen.
Maybe if you just quieted down.
I will like hell quiet down! There's not one of them! Now do you hear me? Not one of them who's any good! Now do you hear that? Now let me spell this out to you, for you ignorant bastards. You at the window. You so goddamn smart. We're facing a danger here, don't you know it? These people are multiplying! That kid on trial, his kind, they're multiplying 5 times as fast as we are. That's the statistic, 5 times. And they're wild animals. They're against us. They hate us. They want to destroy us. Don't look at me like that. There's a danger. For God's sakes, we're living in a dangerous time. If we don't smack them down any chance we get, they're going to own us. They're going to breed us out of existence.
Shut up.
Now you goddamn geniuses had better listen to me. They're violent, they're vicious, they're ignorant, and they're going to cut us up. That's their intent, to cut us up. Now I'm warning you. This boy on trial out here, we got him. That's one at least. I say get him before his kind gets us. I don't give a goddamn about the law. Why should I? They don't. Now I'm telling you.
I have heard enough! Now you just stop all this!
How would you like me to cave your head in for you, you smart little bastard? Where do you...
We've heard enough. Sit down. And don't open your filthy mouth again.
It's very hard to keep personal prejudices out of a thing like this. No matter where you run into it, prejudice obscures the truth. Well, I don't think any real damage has been done here because I don't know where the truth really lies. No one ever will, I suppose. But 9 of us now seem to feel that the defendant is innocent. And we may be just gambling with probabilities, though. We may be wrong. We may be trying to return a guilty man to the community. No one can really know. But we have a reasonable doubt. And that is a safeguard that has tremendous value in our system. No jury can declare a man guilty unless it's sure. And we 9 cannot understand why you 3 are still so sure. Maybe you could tell us.
I'll try. You've made some excellent points. The last one where you argued that the boy wouldn't have made the type of overhand stab wound that killed his father was very persuasive. But I still believe the boy is guilty of murder for 2 reasons. One, the testimony given by the woman across the street who actually saw the murder committed.
And how, brother? As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony in the whole case.
And 2, the fact that this woman described the killing by saying the boy raised his arm over his head and plunged the knife down into his father's chest. She saw him do it the wrong way.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Now, let's talk about this woman for a minute. She says she went to bed at about 11 o'clock that night. Her bed was next to the window. From it, she could look out while lying down and see directly into the boy's room across the tracks. She tossed and turned for about an hour, unable to fall asleep. Finally, at 10 minutes after 12, she turned towards the window and saw the killing through the windows of a passing elevated train. She said the lights went out immediately after, but that she got a good look at the boy in the act of stabbing his father. As far as I can see, this is unshakable testimony.
That's what I mean. That's the whole case.
Well, what do you think? How about you?
Well, I don't know. There's so much evidence to sift. This is a pretty complicated business.
Frankly, I don't see how we can vote for acquittal.
It's not so easy to arrange all the evidence in order.
You could throw out all the other evidence. The woman saw him do it. What else do you want?
Well,
Let's vote on it.
Okay, there's another vote called for. Anybody objects?
I'm changing my vote. I think he's guilty.
Anybody else? Vote is 8-4.
What makes you consider this one vote such a personal triumph?
I'm the competitive type. Okay. Now here's what I think. I think we are a hung jury. Let's take it inside to the judge.
I thought you said you didn't want a hung jury.
Well, I want it now.
Well, I don't understand. You thought it was immoral.
I don't anymore. There are people in this room who are so goddamn stubborn that you can't even... We'll never get this thing done. We'll be here for a week. Well, I want to hear an argument. I say we're a hung jury. Well, come on. You're the leader of the cause. What about it?
Let's go over it again.
Oh, we went over it again. J. Walter Thompson over there is bouncing backward and forward like a tennis ball.
Now, just a second. You have no right to
I
judge.
apologize on my knees. Come on. Let's get out from under this thing.
Oh, all right, all right. Let's say we set some sort of time limit. The time is
6:15.
6:15. Someone before mentioned 7 o'clock. Perhaps that might be a point at which we can begin to discuss whether we're a hung jury or not.
Don't you feel well?
I feel perfectly fine, thank you. Now, as I was saying, 7 o'clock might be a
The
reasonable
reason
time
I
at
asked
which
you about
to-
that was because you were rubbing your nose like, I'm sorry for interrupting, but you made a gesture that reminded me of something.
We are trying to settle something here, if you don't mind.
I think this is important.
Very well.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll pardon me for this, but I was wondering why you were rubbing your nose like that.
Come on now, will you
Look,
please?
right now, I happen to be talking to this gentleman here. Now, why were you rubbing your nose like that?
Well, if it's any of your business, I was rubbing it because it bothers me a little.
I'm sorry, is it because of your eyeglasses?
It is. Now, if we can move on to something else.
Your eyeglasses make those deep impressions on the sides of your nose. I hadn't noticed that before. They must be annoying.
They are very annoying.
I wouldn't know about that. I've never worn eyeglasses. 2020.
Hey, will you come on already with the optometrist bit?
The woman who testified that she saw the killing, she had those same deep marks on the sides of her nose.
That's right, she did.
Please, just a minute and then I'll be finished. Just a minute. Now, I don't know if anyone else noticed that about her, but I didn't think about it then, but I've been going over her face in my mind. She had those marks. She kept rubbing them in court.
No, he's right. She did keep doing that.
Now, this was a woman about 45 years old. She was making a tremendous effort to look 35 for her first public appearance. Heavy makeup, dyed hair, brand new clothes that should have been worn by a younger woman. No eyeglasses. Let's see if you can get a mental picture of her.
What do you mean no glasses? You don't know if she wore glasses just because she was rubbing her nose?
No, but she had those marks. I saw.
So what? What do you think that means?
Listen, I saw him too. He's right. I was the closest one to her. She had those deep things. What do you call them?
Well, what point are you making here?
She had those marks.
Oh, she had dyed hair and marks on her nose. I'm asking you, what does that mean?
Could those marks be made by anything other than eyeglasses?
No, they couldn't.
Oh, listen, what are you saying here? I didn't see any marks.
I did. Strange, I didn't think of it before.
What about the attorney? Why didn't he say anything?
There are 12 people in here concentrating on this case, and 11 of us didn't think of it either.
Okay, Clarence Darrow. What about the district attorney? You think he'd try to pull a trick like that, ever testify without glasses?
Did you ever see a woman who had to wear glasses and didn't want to because she thinks they spoil her looks?
My wife, listen, as soon as we walk out of the house...
Maybe the district attorney didn't know either.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Oh, dang, she had marks on her nose. I'm giving you this, from glasses, right? She never wore them out of the house because so people would think she was gorgeous. But when she saw this kid kill his father, she was in the house alone. That's all.
Do you wear your eyeglasses when you go to bed?
No, I don't. Nobody wears our eyeglasses to bed.
But it's logical to say that she wasn't wearing hers while she was in bed tossing and turning trying to fall asleep.
How do you know?
I don't know, I'm guessing. But I'm also guessing that she didn't put her eyeglasses on when she turned to look casually out the window. And she herself said that she saw the killing just as she looked out. And the lights went off a split second later. She couldn't have had time to put her eyeglasses on.
Wait
then.
a second.
And here's another guess. I'll bet that she honestly believes that she saw the boy kill his father. I'm saying that all she saw was a blur.
How do you know what she saw? How does he know these things? You don't know what kind of glasses she wore. Maybe she was farsighted. Maybe they were sunglasses. What do you know about it?
All I know is that the woman's eyesight is in question now.
She had to identify a person 60 feet away in the dark without glasses.
You can't send someone off to die on evidence like that.
Don't give me that. You don't think the woman might have made a mistake?
No.
It's not possible.
No, it's not
Is
possible.
it possible?
Yes. I say not guilty.
Do you still think he's guilty?
Yes, I think he's guilty. But I couldn't care less. You smart bastards, do what you want.
How do you vote?
Not guilty, do what you want.
Oh, you're the worst son. I say he's guilty. Is there anybody else in here who thinks he's guilty?
No, I am convinced.
What's the matter with you?
I now have a reasonable doubt.
It's 11 to 1.
What about all the other evidence? What about all that stuff? The knife, the whole
You
business.
said we could throw out all the other evidence.
You're alone.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. It's my right.
It is your right.
Well, what do you think? I say he's guilty.
We want your arguments.
I gave you my argument.
We're not convinced. We want to hear them again. We have as much time as it takes.
Everything. Every single thing that went on in that courtroom, but I mean everything, says he's guilty. You think I'm an idiot or something, you lousy bunch of bleeding hearts? You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. I'd sit in this goddamn room for a year. Will somebody say something? Well, why don't you take this stuff about the old man, the old man who lived there and heard everything? Or take the knife. What? Just because he found one like it? The old man saw him right there on the stairs. What does it matter how many seconds it took? Well, what's the difference? Every single thing, the knife falling through a hole in his pocket. You can't prove he didn't get to the door. Sure, you can hobble around all you want, but you can't prove it. I'm telling you, every single thing that went on has been twisted and turned in here. That business with the glasses, how do you know she didn't have them on? The woman testified in court. Well, that's it. That's the whole case. The whole thing about it, hearing the boy yell out, the phrase was, "I'm going to kill you." That's what he said to his own father. I don't care what kind of a man that was his father. Goddamn rotten kid, I know him, what they're like, what they do to you, how they kill you every day. My God, don't you see? How come I'm the only one who sees? Jeez. I can feel the knife going in.
He's not your boy. He's somebody else.
Let him live.
All right. Not guilty.
We have a verdict.
All right, gentlemen, take your seats in the jury box.